So much has happened since I last saw you. I lost my hammer, like yesterday, so that's still pretty fresh. And then I went on a journey of self-discovery, where I met you.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Grapevine Movie Reviews, where we only review the movies that we haven't seen. If you haven't been with us before, the group of us, we will go out and we'll check out a movie. One of us will not see the movie. We'll all get together, we'll talk about the film, and then the person that didn't get to see it will take our points into consideration and tell us whether or not they want to go check out the movie that we just reviewed. Now, this week, joining me, Matt, is...
I'm Yash.
Andrew.
Mariana.
Michael.
And this week we're going to be doing the latest Marvel movie, the latest movie in their pantheon, their 100th movie, 119th movie, Thor Ragnarok. If you don't know anything about the movie, it's the third edition of the Thor franchise. And Andy's going to do a little bit of a synopsis here for Michael, who didn't get to watch the movie.
I did not. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Matt. So basically... this is just a pickup of where it left off from Thor. He hasn't been in a couple movies, neither has the Hulk. It's a pickup of where they are in the timeline now, leading up to,
Civil War. No, sorry.
Not Civil War, but Infinity Wars. So it really centers around the plot, if any of you guys know the plot of Planet War or Planet Hulk, where they get stranded on this planet. They have to fight each other in this battle dome for their freedom. And then it also has a subplot, or the main... That's kind of the subplot. And then the main plot is Hela, which is the big bad in this one.
Yeah. The goddess of death.
Yeah, she comes to Asgard to pretty much take over Asgard and try to rule, obviously, the universe, as everyone tries to do.
As the villains of these Marvel movies.
Right, and that's pretty much what you get.
Okay.
So, Michael, you can lead this discussion. You can tell us what you want to hear. And
start off.
We can help you make your decision.
I guess just let's start off with a sort of general thoughts on the movie. What did you like the most about it?
Okay, so I liked how funny this movie was. It's a really consistently funny movie all the way through. I like more than anything that it really humanizes the Thor character in a way that I found the character boring. I found Thor boring in his first movie. I found him boring in most of these movies. The only times he was ever fun was like little like fish out of water moments where he was like at the coffee shop and he liked the coffee and he smashed the cup and said he wanted more.
I just rewatched the first Thor for this review.
Yeah, so that's a little funny scene, but like that's not enough of the movie. And I feel like this movie has taken that scene and made that just Thor. That's who he is now, all the time. He's like the big dumb jock that you love him though because he's not mean spirited or anything. He's kind of dumb and he has an ego, and I like that about him. And I found him funny in the movie, and everybody else was funny too.
I liked all the side characters, especially I don't know, like
the director.
Everyone. The director was great, but Hulk, he was great in this, and so was
best Hulk that I've seen on screen.
Yeah, he was fucking amazing, and especially Carl Urban, the guy who played
Scourge.
Scourge. Yeah. And he was so great in this.
Really?
Like,
I didn't expect that.
He starts off as this like whimsical, just like like a funny comedic character that you just pick on, and then it turns into like shit gets real for him.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting. Yeah,
I think my absolute favorite
Judge Dredd. Sorry.
Yeah, Judge Dredd. Right. I think my absolute favorite thing is Cate Blanchett. Like,
really, okay.
She is amazing. Maybe I don't watch enough Cate Blanchett movies, and maybe I don't rate her on my scale of like amazing actresses. I mean, is this one of her best performances as an actress? Probably not. And there's going to be people that are like, "Are you crazy, Cate Blanchett? This is probably her worst performance." But I thought she was very strong.
Blue Jasmine.
To me, she was like she's not this type of person.
Yeah.
Like,
And she brings it.
Yeah,
despite the.
It would be like if you had Meryl Streep in Marvel movies, like to have her in there, like Anthony Hopkins in Transformers.
Yeah.
Like he was that guy.
Or in the Thor movie. He is very good as Odin.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's a fish out of water. It's not really the type of thing you would expect that caliber of an actor to do.
There's certain
and when you see them, you're like, wow, that actually works. Great.
Yeah.
They don't seem like they're mailing it in just for this paycheck.
Or even Idris Elba, he's another big respected actor.
Right? Yeah, Idris Elba does more goofy stuff here and there, I think, than Cate Blanchett. This isn't her thing at all. And I feel like she just comes in and she's just chewing scenery. She's having a good time.
Right.
I'm like, this is not your best performance, but this is the most fun I think I've ever seen you have in a movie.
Right, and she's not phoning it in.
No.
Right, she's actually enjoying the role and really fulfilling the role as it states.
There are certain actors.
I would love to see her back.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
Yeah,
and she might be back because the whole thing with Thanos and this is in Infinity War.
Well, we'll see that if she's back. We'll see that if she's back. We'll see that if she's back.
Unless there's another...
They've not alluded to that yet. They've just made subtle references. Mm-hmm. The other thing I just want to add on to the end before Mariana goes is I want to agree with Matt with the humor to a certain extent. We'll get into it when you ask me what's bad about it.
Quite as well.
When you ask me what's bad, I'll get into that. Go ahead, Marianne.
So yeah, I thought this movie was overall funny, but there are moments that I wish they would have stayed.
We're talking about
on
the
the
good
more
stuff.
No. But I'm saying what I liked about the humor is particularly the Taiki Waititi stuff.
Yeah,
which is he voices the
I
rock
saw
monster.
a clip. Yeah.
Although I didn't, not all the placement of the jokes were good, but his voice performance was really funny, and also. I really like how he brought Rachel House from Hunt for the Wilder People. She's like Jeff Goldblum's
the same character.
She's pretty much the same person.
And the thing is, I loved her in Hunt for the Wilder People, and I'm glad he brought her.
Was she the...
she was the one that was trying to give him candy at the stream. You want this candy? Huh? Take this candy.
And he's like, no, I'm
not taking the candy. You just want the candy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And she hunts
that's a funny role.
Yeah. So, it's my favorite humor parts were the New Zealand people.
Yeah.
I thought it's not only the accent that's always it makes me happy when I hear the accent.
I always actually thought it was Charlton Copley for a bit.
Interesting, yeah.
But yeah, it always makes me happy when I hear the accent. It's just joyful. And then also I really liked both their performances. And then my other favorite part is Jeff Goldblum as a presence and his character.
It's a packed cast.
Yeah.
I thought he brought the most humor in general. Also, I just I like Jeff Goldblum.
And for the record, guys, I know you can't see us, but this is the first time I think I've seen Mariana smile from a Marvel movie. So that means you actually enjoyed it. Well, you actually enjoyed that piece.
There's a few Marvel movies that I enjoyed, but none of them stand out to me. I don't think this movie stood out to me either.
Well,
but I'm saying most of the time I come out of a Marvel movie, I'm not bored during the movie.
Yeah, you have a good time.
I have overall, I don't hate the movie unless the first, there's a couple here and there. But I'm saying overall, I come out of the movie, I'm yeah, that was enjoyable, but there's never any moment where I'm wow, that was my favorite movie.
I think that will happen for Black Panther.
I can't believe they took this risk, because they don't take risks. And the thing is, even when I saw this trailer, I didn't see any Taiki. Mm-hmm. Anything that would if I didn't know this was a Taika Waititi film, there's no distinctive feature. I think they all go through the filter, and they all come out with the same humor.
Right.
And the thing is, that's why I love the New Zealanders in this movie, because I feel that was
Taiki
jokes.
That's the one place where you see his style.
And because he improvised most of his lines, and most of it, if you see What We Do in the Shadows, 70% of that movie was improvised. And again, in this movie, his voice acting was mostly improvised. Mm-hmm. And that's where his humor comes out. And I think most of the other lines were scripted, because I don't think most of the actors are comedic, first.
I know
And
he's talked about how he did encourage them to revise.
No,
it.
but I'm saying
I can't tell you how much.
a lot of the jokes were funny, but I'm saying none of them were his style particularly,
Right.
and that's why I said, like, if this was a Taika Waititi movie first, I may have enjoyed this movie a lot more because it would have felt different from the other Marvel movies. But overall, like, I enjoyed this movie, but it's not going to be on my top of the year. Unless somebody makes me, I'm not going to rewatch it.
All right. Well, let this be a segue to the.
No, exactly. We're segueing to negative. Before we get into negative, I just want to know, because Tom Hiddleston is back as Loki. Mm-hmm. Does he make a mark, or because he has consistently been my favorite part of all the Thor things?
Not as good as
not as good
as he was in the first Avengers.
Okay, interesting.
I think he was pretty good in this. Like this movie is kind of a rehabilitation for the character, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So I think they want him to be on the good side for Infinity War, or at least fighting.
I can see.
Or he's like an anti-villain.
Like he's an anti-hero basically in that way. Like he's the trickster god, so he's going to be doing all these things, and he's always looking out for himself. But if looking, you can see that he loves his brother still.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I always
fight
like.
Thor, but I'm not going to try to kill Thor because he's my brother.
But at the end, I don't think he wants total, like, at least in the Avengers movie, he kind of is the cause for the destruction. Yeah. But, like, now it doesn't seem like he doesn't want...
that's what his motivation is.
Like, he doesn't want everyone to be in pain. Like,
no.
He likes mischief, and he likes putting himself on top. Like, if he were able to rule over a peaceful kingdom, that's might be what he likes.
Right.
But I'm saying, like he won't be afraid to make bad choices to be in power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
and he'll screw people over a lot.
Yeah.
Like he's funny.
And that's what I liked about it, because
like a
him and Jeff
businessman.
Goldblum's character, really hit it off.
They rub elbows.
So and it's because that's kind of the person that Jeff Goldblum's character was playing as well.
Interesting.
Now,
okay, I'm interested.
Now I'll just go into my negatives.
Yeah, go for it.
So, like I said, I did love the humor. As a traditional Thor fan, I feel like this is going to. I always bring up the fact I'm a lot older than you guys, and I've watched.
Oh, you mean
Thor,
like Thor the comics?
I've watched Thor the comics.
I thought you meant like Thor 1 and 2.
Thor the.
I read Thor comics, so
right.
I think I'm in a similar boat.
And honestly, I think this is really either going to so people are going to really hate this iteration of Thor, or they're going to love it. And because of the fact that you didn't do it in the first two films, it feels forced. It feels like it feels like a new movie. It feels like you just rehashed Thor.
But not just that, is that
within the same universe.
Not just that, is in the first two movies he has a whole bunch of like comrades and friends, and they're just not even.
Time out. Let's get into that though. I want to get into that part of it.
So wait,
you guys talk about it like that matters, but I'm gonna like
no. I don't care about them.
Exactly. Aside from Michael, who was recently we watched the first movie and whatever.
Yeah.
Can you name one of his three friends?
I don't care about this.
You don't care that it's been scrapped.
Because those movies were boring.
Yeah, they were.
Lady Warrior.
I think the first one holds up.
The Asian one.
Well, to be fair.
But really and truly, if you look at Thor in the past, like this is how bad Thor has been. On the top Marvel movies, it's 24th and 27th.
Yeah.
On the list.
Yeah. And
it's
I think
not
also
making money. They had to change something.
The
they were pretty forgettable. And Thor 2 probably was the worst in the franchise.
It
was probably as bad as Iron Man 2, or which one was it? The one where...
I like Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 so much more than Thor.
I hated Thor, Iron Man 2. Iron Man 3 was okay.
Right. So anyway, here I'm saying is like... everyone's humor around it was good. I didn't like Thor
seeing that change to Thor,
to the Thor character,
to his very.
I felt they could have had awkward humor with him instead of outright tomfoolery and turning him into a big dumb oaf.
That's
basically.
I don't think he was a big dumb oaf.
There's one point where they're bringing him to see the Almighty Creator, or what the character of
the
Grandmaster, and they're riding him through this chair. And then it starts really going fast, and he's like, screaming like, okay, bro, you were literally in 2 scenes before that fighting the devil. And now you're screaming because a chair is going fast?
No, but ridiculous. But that's different. the whole devil thing at the beginning was his plan. He got captured by the devil on purpose so that he could fight him.
And he had his hammer,
this situation,
he's captured.
His hammer has been destroyed. He's been captured. He just woke up from being knocked out, strapped into this chair, and the chair starts moving through space.
Oh,
and there's all these crazy things to do. And it's going really, really fast. And he's like, "What the freak is going on?"
I'm
and he screams. I got it.
No,
It's interesting.
no, it was just too. It was far too.
I like that part.
It was far too much.
Funny. I thought it was funny.
Far too much foolery. So anyway, go on.
I'm gonna agree with you there on some of those parts, and part of this movie why it didn't quite hit is because they're kind of making it like an origin movie. It's almost well they are kind of rebooting his character, but that almost gets in the way of all the other things they're trying to do with this movie. Like Matt said, they're dealing with colonialism and all that.
There's a point in the movie, which again I should have probably said this. This is going to be one of my favorite points in the movie, where the Grand Master, somebody says the slaves are rebelling, and he goes, "Oh, don't use slaves. I don't like that." And then they go, "Okay, the working prisoners are rebelling." He goes, "Yeah, that's better.
That's better."
I'm
He's like, I don't know if I like that, but we'll work with that. Yeah.
I was like, that is kind of a serious thing, and very interesting that they're like dealing with how colonialism, again, as you said, how they don't want to acknowledge how they get their wealth. He's like, the reason why he's so rich and so powerful is because he has slaves. But he's like, I don't want to call them slaves. That makes me seem really bad. I don't like it.
But I'm surprised that they actually use, like, the movie itself used
that-
that.
that's-
Because in most
Stranger
movies,
Things, take note.
Oh, stop it!
Anyway, no, you were saying though.
They take away his powers, and he has to like figure out who he is again, and it's a very like origin
That's
movie.
very much like the first movie.
Yeah, exactly, and it's
that. I see what you're saying.
It's-
then.
He doesn't take away his powers. He loses his
hammer.
Especially
When he loses his blanket.
When you're thinking,
Yes.
a third movie in a
Mjolnir?
trilogy
What it's called.
is
He lost the
usually like
training
we
wheels,
already
basically.
know the character,
Right.
Yeah.
And so let's really just have fun with that.
So that's
character.
why it
Yeah.
felt weird
So now
that it
it's
was
reset.
rebooted in the same
Interesting.
universe. It was.
Yeah.
It almost feels like they want us to forget the other
I think
two.
they
Like,
do.
This is the actual
Yeah.
first one.
Well, they didn't need to make me want to forget the other two.
I
just forgot them. I
just
don't remember
forgot
them.
Right.
And the way that I view that is like, I viewed the hammer. There's a scene where basically Anthony Hopkins tells him, where he's like, the hammer was a vessel for your power.
Oh,
but it's your power. Like, I feel like it's just like,
It was inside you all along.
no, but like, yeah, it's taking away the training wheels. The hammer
But
is
then
the
that
training
was
wheels.
cheese because exactly like you said, it's within you. He's like, I'm just not strong enough. I'm not as strong as you. He's like, you're right. And then as he said this, I said it at the exact same time. I was like, you're right. You are stronger. I said that.
He did do it.
That's
I was watching
funny.
it with Andy, and he nudged me on the side and went, "He's stronger." And then he said it.
That's pretty heavy.
I call that too, but like, every father thinks that of their kid. They're like, "Oh, you're a better version of me. Go."
Yeah.
You know, it's.
I think that was just Disney.
So I don't think it was.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah.
Oh god. But yeah, of things I didn't like, for me personally, I would say that it was for me it was probably, I think there was a couple moments where it was too on the nose with what I thought it was going to do.
Oh, okay.
Where there's a thing at the end, I don't want to spoil it,
Yeah.
but there's a thing where like Thor, something happens to Thor that is thematic, but it's so on the nose that I'm like, oh, okay, I guess you're doing that. I see why you did it, but it feels like it's very paint by numbers and on the nose. I feel like every time that there was an opening for a joke, they took it, and I was hoping for one of like, I hope they don't take it this time to keep me on my toes.
That's how
But
I
every time
felt
there's an
in
opening for a joke, there is a
Guardians
joke.
2
Right,
bit.
right.
Yeah.
And you know
time
what?
there's
It's
opening for a joke,
exactly
they take
what
the joke.
Mariana said. That she hit it right on the head. The only ones that were not like that were the characters that the director specifically either was voicing or the people that he brought, his own crew that he
like-
brought.
No, I disagree. Carl Urban was.
Oh yeah, and him. You're right.
I'm not even just talking about like the improv jokes right there. I'm just saying anytime there's opening for, oh, this could be a gag, then the gag
take
happens.
it,
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Does it ever undercut serious moments like in
Yes.
Guardians?
Yeah.
All the
Yes.
time. Which I'm
That's-
fine.
Oh,
Which I'm fine,
every
but I'm fine with that.
single
talking
time.
about that earlier.
But I'm fine with that. But it's just like every single time, like where like, I don't know. There's one later in the movie where the Hulk has to come save everybody, and he's like, "You're gonna see what I really am," and then he does this thing, and I'm like, "Oh, the joke's gonna be that this
Doesn't
something's gonna
happen.
No, it does happen. It exactly happens, and I'm like, okay, like exactly what I thought was going to happen happens.
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
No. I mean,
Like,
it doesn't
every time
happen
they-
that he shows her what.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like every single time that there's an opening for a gag, and you're like, maybe they could not.
They said
keep me on
it-
my toes.
Well, it's not even that. Don't show me the opening.
Yeah.
It leads you into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the Disney, just like Mariana said. But like, I do want to touch on one thing I did like that I forgot to mention. I did like the background of Asgard, like how they became Asgard.
Which again is part of the colonialism.
Right, which is
Because
another
Hela
reference of the colonialism.
Because Hela comes back and basically goes like, they have all these great things, but they basically whitewash the history of it, and she destroys this whole cathedral thing, and under it you see the real
way
how they came into all their gold and their money and their wealth and all this things. I'm like, it's amazing. I think they whitewashed their history.
Which
I thought that was awesome.
you said at the end of the movie something happens where they undercut the joke and you didn't like that.
They undercut the seriousness, not the joke, because they
sorry.
They undercut. There's a serious moment where the whole Thor character is built on this thing. I don't want to say what it is because it's at the end of the movie. But the whole character and the whole city depends on it. And then this huge moment happens. And then they like just look at it. Like it's happening in front of them. And then like I'm like, that's a great moment because they're taking it in. It's a serious moment. As a viewer or fan or whatever, you should be feeling that moment.
I can't really talk about it.
And then all of a sudden, it's just like
joke.
The rock monster makes a joke, and then he like says 3 more jokes, and then I'm like, can't you let people sit?
Let it sink in?
And I'm like, and that's the whole thing. I was talking about earlier with Matt and Yash how that's my least favorite thing about Guardians 2 is that every single time
you tried to feel something, they jumped in with something,
and I'm like They don't even... It's one thing if you cut to a different scene and that scene opens with a joke, but it's like in that scene. And I'm like, just let that scene be sad or serious. And then if you want a joke, cut to a different scene. But I'm like saying in that moment, the character makes a joke. And I'm like, let it be serious. Don't be afraid.
I felt that feeling, that same feeling, when they were talking about Valkyrie and how her story
I'm curious,
came to
because
be.
This is the first time you've mentioned Valkyrie, and I've heard a lot about
She was
her
good.
from other people.
She was really
Yeah.
good.
Tessa
2
Thompson.
thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. I give her 2 thumbs up as
No,
well.
I like Tessa
From
Thompson.
her first moments in the movie, she saunters onto the screen, and I'm just like, she's the best. She's the best.
good to hear.
Right.
Every single
She
one.
was very good.
Yeah.
And the exposition of how the Valkyries are they dropped from dominance.
Yeah.
It's a total exact flashback, just like Wonder Woman, but they did it much better.
And the visuals are great, beautiful visuals. And again, I just like the fact that they played her character as basically like this PTSD drunk, just like she does is drink so that she can forget how bad things happen. I'm like, whoa. And but like she plays a drunk so great, like she has this charisma while she's being drunk all the time.
I'm very curious about her.
I really like her.
There's been so much talk about her even having her sort of spin off and stuff like that.
I really liked her a lot.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot as well.
I also like that they yada yada the whole Jane Foster is not in the movies anymore, which is the
I have no problem with that.
I was like, yeah, yada yada, get that out of here.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk. We don't need to dwell on the fact that she's not in these movies.
I guess the
anymore.
last thing, how's the action? Like in terms of compared to other Marvel movies, because they've set a pretty high bar. What are we looking at here?
Okay, so if you don't remember in my Wonder Woman review, I had this issue where it was just 2 overpowered people hitting each other.
Okay.
And none of the hits landed, and it was just that. And they did that like 5 times in this movie. And of course, every action scene leading to the end scene, are inconsequential. They're just hitting each other, they're falling down, they're getting up. No blood, no bruises, nothing. And then at the end, obviously they have a huge battle, and then it's like, okay, this is when it's like they're just doing action sequence, and it's like none of this matters except the last one.
That's a very cynical take.
Right. I get her point, and I did feel that as well.
All the superhero movies,
Yeah.
they make action because it looks cool, and it's like, oh, wasn't it awesome when this person did this?
I almost wanted
but it's
to
like none of it matters until the last one.
And none of it matters because they've already released a film schedule and they already said that he's going to be in.
I suppose that is a part
as
of
well.
Having
so it's
shared
nothing.
universe.
Nothing has any consequence. Nothing has any finality to it.
Yeah.
Just to add on to her point, is like at the end, I wish these Marvel movies would throw something out there out of the cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Like that. This was okay. So I felt like they missed the opportunity to do something good in Civil War and really like kill off Steve Rogers or something, right? Like do something crazy.
Even without killing, they could have hit you harder.
Right.
Yeah.
In this one, we all know that if you've read any of the Infinity Wars stories, Thor did not come into it until the end.
Yeah.
Because he was dead.
Yeah.
They could have taken this opportunity to kill him right there and then had our fan favorite character come in, that whatever is that Beta Ray Jack.
Oh, Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill. Yeah. And they could have had him.
Apparently he was in the original
it was a bust.
Cut, but they cut him out of the movie.
It was a bust of him on that. On the planet.
Yeah.
But they could have done something to really pull us back in. Then they could have had Loki really be the leader of them and say like, okay, well, who do we turn to? Are we going to turn to Hulk? Are we going to turn to Valkyrie? And then Loki's like, well, this is my chance to redeem myself. Show my father and my brother that I'm better than just this trickster loser guy. Right? And then Thor comes in at the second part of Infinity Wars and then picks it up right where he left off.
What are we talking about?
Now, I'm curious. Matt's got this scowl on. I'm very curious.
You guys are focusing on all the things that have to fit into the homogeny of the Marvel movies, which is there. I get what you're talking about. But there was a lot of stuff here that was really, really fun. Like, in the sense, like, when in any of the other Marvel movies have we gotten to watch a gladiator battle between the Hulk and Thor?
Like, that was
and this crowd screaming. They're all wearing they all have their Hulk masks. Hulk, 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 Hulk. And then when Thor starts winning, they're all loving him, and it's all great. And then the Hulk is having his moment where he's like, oh my god, they don't love me anymore.
And I liked it.
There's emotion to the whole character.
Any of the other moments outside of that one.
And then that one doesn't even actually end because when the thing's about to go off and go huge, the Grandmaster cheats and ruins it, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it, love it. Then, I love that all the fights in this movie end in a way that you weren't expecting it to end. Like, you think, oh, okay, there's going to be a big battle, and it's like, actually, no, someone's just going to come in and stop the battle, and that's actually how the thing's going to end. I like that they did a couple of things like that. I like in the big plane chase scene where they're trying to escape the planet to fly through the Devil's Anus, which is a great joke of the movie. And they're flying away, and as they're flying away, Thor and Valkyrie have to go take out the ships that are chasing them because they're in a ship that doesn't have any weapons on it. And they find out the ship that they're on is the ship that Grandmaster uses to have all his orgies. And then it's called Bruce Banner's flying the plane. He doesn't know any of the buttons because it's all different language. He presses it, and then the orgy music comes on in the background of his flying. It's funny! Yeah. Like, there's the scene movie's funny. It consistently throws little gags and humor in it. And everyone wants to do in this room, it feels like, it's focused on, like, oh, well, this is how it's the same as the other Marvel movies. Yeah, they're all part of the same universe, but they all have also their little things that are interesting about them. They make them their own movie. And I feel like, in general, the audiences now are getting too upset about, like, oh, they all have to fit this little model. Yeah, because they're all fitting into the same universe. But they do empower their directors to put their own little flourishes here and there where they can. I take the time to enjoy those flourishes because they're fun. And all the directors have their own voice in little parts of the movie, and I think that's good.
And all those reasons are exactly why this is probably my favorite Phase 3 movie. It's like, there hasn't been any that I've loved other than this one.
Yeah, it's true.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's true.
I think I preferred Spider-Man than this one.
I did.
I like Spider-Man a little bit better.
I thought like in Spider-Man, how the Vulture, his plan wasn't to take over the world. It wasn't like it was a lot more grounded and it was a lot more understandable. Yeah. And in this one, as good as her performance was, and like you understand because like she was banished, like she rose Asgard to power and then she was banished, so obviously she's angry. But then her ultimate plan is just to kill everyone into submission and then rule the world. Then what?
No, she wants to rule the galaxy. She wants to rule the galaxy. Basically, the way Asgard accumulated their wealth is her and Odin went and like took over several different planets and stole their gold.
They were pretty much like Galactus.
Yeah. But and then at a certain point, Odin says, we have enough. And then she's like, no, I want everything. Yeah. And then he has to trap her. Yeah, and then when she comes back, she was like, I'm going to go back to doing that. I get it. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but it's the fact that they've done this 10 times. It's like, I want to rule the world. I want to rule the galaxy.
But that's comics.
And then what?
Again, I get what the Marvel fatigue that's happening and the superhero fatigue in general. There's so many of these movies. Like, in 2 weeks, we're going to be reviewing Justice League.
Can we not?
We have to.
Oh, sorry. Did I say that out
But like, there's just so many of them out there, and I understand what we're all saying, and we all want stuff that's going to be different. But I feel like this was so wildly different than the other Thor movies that this was different.
And even other Marvel movies.
Yeah, even the other Marvel movies. They had their own... Like, I get it that it has to fit into the grand scheme of what their big plan is. But there was enough things about this that were different, and the stylistic choices were different enough. Where I was like, yeah, this feels like its own thing, but it also feels like it's part of the grander story.
Yeah. I agree with Matt. Pretty much nothing to add there.
That's fine.
I actually agree with Matt as well. I mean, I thought it was really fun. The only major gripe I have is the Thor character, like I said.
Yeah.
And I don't mind the cookie cutter because that's what I know I'm getting that when I go into a movie like that. I did wish they took a little bit more chances with things. A little bit more chances, what I was trying to explain before. Mm-hmm. And all then, like, is it in my top 10 movies of the year? Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah. Is it in my top 10 Marvel movies?
Actually be
Absolutely not.
Top 10 Marvel movies, there's only 17.
There's been like 100.
Of the MCU,
No.
there's 17.
All right, so 17. Yeah, fine, no problem.
This actually could be in my top 10 because I can't think off the top of my head of a lot of things that I really loved.
Yeah.
You could crack it. I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to be high on it.
Well, out of the MCU, then maybe it's in the top 10. Maybe. But all I'm saying is, if you were listening to me about whether to watch it or not, I would say yes, do it because it is better than the other two. But is it better than Guardians of the Galaxy? I think it's pretty much
Definitely.
I think it's pretty much just slightly better.
That's bold. I think the original Guardians of the Galaxy is better than this, but it's better than the
It's
cartoon.
probably my
I'd say.
favorite Marvel.
But
Sorry, I thought you just meant two.
I'm going to piggyback.
No, just two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to piggyback off what Yash said earlier as well.
That
Like,
he
the
agreed
side,
with you?
The side, no. He said it much earlier in the reviews. The side characters are all really
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
I thought
yeah, I wanted to-
It has so many interesting side characters, and they all have their own little plots that are fine for them.
Especially
and
the
they
arc
don't
of Carl.
kill it. They don't. Yeah. Carl Urban, Valkyrie. The Hulk has his own little story about how he doesn't want to go back to Earth because people on Earth hate him. People on Earth hate him. And they all have the Grandmaster has a side story there about how he accumulated Rachel House. All of them. There's so many different side characters that have little plots that are interesting. And we didn't even talk about the Doctor Strange cameo.
Oh yeah,
which is really fun. Which is really fun in its own way too.
Odinson.
Yeah, I thought that there was better banter between Doctor Strange and Thor than Doctor Strange had with anybody in his own movie.
And I love how they cut that scene where it just kept jumping everywhere.
Yeah, it was cool. There was visual flourishes in this movie that were fun. Anyway.
Okay, so even though I may have trashed it a bit at the end, no, overall, like I said early on, I come out of most Marvel movies and I'm like, yeah, that was enjoyable, but it's like, again, it's the fact that I keep seeing, especially, I love Taika Waititi, Eagle vs. Shark, Hunt for the Wilder People, What We Do in the Shadows are some of my favorite movies, so it's like, I have personal investment in this because I know he's a great director, and then I come into this, and then I'm like, I want to see Taika Waititi first. And again, there's little flourishes, but
He did good with what he had, though.
But again, it's just like, I don't want it to be like every other. I don't want it to be.
Yeah, I know, but
cutter.
the reality is, the bigger the movie is, the less control the director is going to have.
Yeah,
and
but
Thor is like the biggest movie of the year. It's he's going to have and he did so much with it. I think.
I think.
No, but I'm saying it's like, this is why I had an issue.
I think it's fair.
And as you all enjoyed it. This is what you wanted.
You just had a personal attachment.
And the thing is, I don't want more I'm not like, oh, I want it to be bigger. I wanted them to focus in on something, and it just felt like everything else.
And what were you trying to say, Mike?
No, I think it's fair. I wish more movies strive to be, or more of the Marvel movies strive to be on the level of, I think, like Dark Knight and Logan and things like this. Because those things have proven that you can elevate it above in different ways.
And the thing is that The Dark Knight is a Nolan movie. If you've seen his other movies, that's his style. Logan, actually can't remember the director's name, but it feels like a
But it
singular
wasn't in
vision.
like a universe or anything. There wasn't.
Yeah,
and maybe
but that's my
what holds it
problem
down.
is that
Who knows?
they want the universe first.
Yeah.
Instead of making a good standalone.
And if that's the case, then have the same director for every single one of them, just to make it the same.
Perhaps.
Yeah, stop hiring. Stop taking.
Or have something
But
like a show.
I think
like
the individual
episode TV,
flavor that Matt brings up does add something.
Yeah.
And if it was the same director for everyone, you would start feeling, I think, even more stale.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
just to wrap it up, I
No,
think, I'm pretty excited to see it. I was a little on the fence. I was obviously going to see it no matter what, but the things I was worried about, I think I'm pretty interested in the themes that it's exploring. I think it sounds really funny. And
you want to see Hulk fight Thor.
And I want to see Hulk fight Thor. It sounds like a really good time. So I'm running out to see this tomorrow, I'm thinking.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we won this.
I don't think
This
it's
is
fair,
All of
Michelle.
us, all of us were saying to go watch it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's worth
I mean,
watching.
overall, we said
Never mind.
we
Yeah,
enjoyed
yeah.
it. Like,
So yeah, I can't wait till talk to Michael about it finally when he goes and watches it. And if you guys haven't seen it, you should probably go check it out as well. But you can always comment on our video on YouTube whether or not you like the movie as well. And always come back and join us on the Vine. I'm Matt.
You should like and subscribe. I'm Yash.
Andrew?
Mariana.
I'm still Michael.
Oh.
And yeah, next time you're going to hear from us, we're going to be talking about
The killing of a sacred deer.
Sure, something's coming up. It might be Justice League is the next thing we're going to talk about.
Who knows?
It's going to be you'll see you next time. Just keep posted on the channel.
Smash that like button.
Smash it.
Just destroy it.
Yeah.
Sign
All
up
right.
for the notifications.
And come back and join us on the Vine next time.